Dear students, in the previous YouTube class in KCET 2011 paper, okay, I solved till 29th question. Okay, uh, it was the 29th question. I will repeat it once again. Which one of the following plants is considered as less known species of food crops? Okay, the options are like this. One is uh, Sophocarpus tetragonolobus. Then second one is Sorghum vulgare. Then third one is Eleusine coracana. Then fourth option is Penicetum typhoidis. Right? And here, why we are going to call it as the lesser known species? Okay. And I told you the right option for this one. What is that right option? Eleusine coracana. Right? And here Eleusine coracana, it is commonly known as ragi in India. This plant requires a lot of water for growth and it is mostly grown in the hilly regions of our country. Okay, hence it is a lesser known species than other crops given in the option, right? Okay, and let us move on to question number 30th. What is there when 2 to 3 drops of Benedict's reagent are added to a urine sample and heated gently? It turns yellow, right? This color changes indicates that. Okay, now remember this question is based on the practical part. Okay, practical part they have asked. We are going to perform Benedict reagent in case of the carbohydrate test, and it is based on that experiment only, right? And here the correct option is 4. Urine contains 1% glucose. Okay, when 2 to 3 drops of Benedict reagent are added to a urine sample and heated gently, it turns yellow. This color change indicates that the urine contains 1% glucose. Option 4 is the correct answer. And remember, the color of the solution after performing the Benedict test represent the amount of glucose present in the given solution. It means if the solution turns green, it indicates presence of 0.1 to 0.5% glucose, and if the solution turns yellow, it indicates the presence of 0.5 to 1% glucose, and if the solution turns orange, it indicates presence of 1 to 1.5% glucose, and if the solution turns red, it indicates presence of 1.5 to 2% glucose. Okay, and if the solution has more than 2% of glucose, then the solution shows brick red precipitate. Okay, now yellow color means it shows the 1% glucose only. So option 4 is the correct answer. Urine contains 1% glucose, right? Okay, then next one. Uh, question number 31. Question number 31. Okay, what is there? BT. Okay, BT brinjal is an example of transgenic crops. In this, BT refers to. Now, currently we are going to study this concept, that is biotechnology and its applications, and the options are like this: Bacillus tuberculosis, then biotechnology, then beta carotene, then Bacillus thuringiensis. And here BT stands for Bacillus thuringiensis, right? And remember the BT toxin produced by a bacterium called as Bacillus thuringiensis, BT for short. Okay, and we have studied already this concept in biotechnology and its applications, right? And you can refer the page number 208, and we are familiar with this particular concept. BT stands for Bacillus thuringiensis, right? And let us go for next question. Question number 32. Which one of the following is not an anti-transparent? Okay, and here remember first PMA, then second option is VAP, then third option is silicone oil, then fourth option is low viscosity, right? And low viscosity silicone they have mentioned like this. Okay, and here transpiration means what? Here transpiration is nothing but the loss of water in the form of water vapors from the aerial parts of the plant, right? and this takes place with the help of the stomata, which are present in the leaves only. Okay, that stomata, they are mostly present on the lower surface of the leaves, right, if we consider the dicot leaf. Okay, and the chemicals, if the chemicals applied on leaves of the plants to reduce the rate of transpiration are called as the anti-transpirants. Okay, and here we need to understand the meaning of anti-transpirants. Okay, these are the chemicals which are applied on the leaves of the plants to reduce the rate of transpiration. Okay, they are called as the anti-transpirants. Okay, and why anti-transpirants are used here? They are used to improve the crop yield or productivity in drought affected areas, right? And remember, PMA, phenyl mercuric acetate, and low viscosity silicone oil are the anti-transpirants. Okay, but benzopyrene, okay, benzoapyrene, BAP, it is not an anti-transpirant. It is not an anti-transpirant, right? And this concept was previously it was there in old Karnataka syllabus, right, before 2014, right? And here the correct answer for question number 32 is the second one, BAP. Okay, benzoapyrene. Okay, it is not an anti-transpirant. And the remaining three, PMA, then silicone oil and low viscosity silicone are the uh, low viscosity silicone oil are the anti-transpirants, right? Then question number 32. What is there? The brain stem is made up of. Okay, and the brain stem is made up of, the different options are like this. One is midbrain, then pons, then cerebellum. Second option is midbrain, pons, medulla oblongata. Then third option is diencephalon, then medulla oblongata, then cerebellum. Then fourth option is cerebellum, cerebrum, then medulla oblongata, right? And for question number 33, option 2 is the correct answer. The brain stem is made up of midbrain, then pons, medulla oblongata. And here the three major regions make up the brain stem, that is midbrain, pons and medulla oblongata. Okay, you can refer the chapter in first PUC, the neural control and coordination. You can refer the page number 321, right? And let us go for next question, that is question number 34. Okay, the loosely arranged non-chlorophyllous parenchyma cells present in lenticels are called. Okay, they are called as what here? The options are like this. One is complementary cells, then second one is passage cells, then third one is water stomata, then fourth one is albuminous cells, right? And here the loosely arranged non-chlorophyllous parenchyma cells present in lenticels are called as the complementary cells. Complementary cells, right? And here what do you mean by lenticels? The lenticels are the small openings in the bark of plants. Okay, they are mainly meant for gaseous exchange. And the lenticel halogen gives rise to large mass of cells called as the complementary cells, right? And these complementary cells are centrifugally and loosely arranged, right? And these cells are nothing but parenchyma cells and are non-chlorophyllous cells, right? And hence they do not perform photosynthesis, right? So the correct option is complementary cells only. And what about the second option here, passage cells? Passage cells are present in the endodermal region of the roots. Okay, they are mainly meant for the passage of water from cortex region into the stela region, right? Then third option is water stomata. Okay, they are nothing but the hydrothodes which are present in the vein endings of the grasses and many herbaceous plants. Okay, they are mainly involved in the process of guttation, right? And fourth one is albuminous cells. Okay, albuminous cells. Okay, and here in the phloem of the gymnosperms, instead of the companion cells, okay, the albuminous cells will be there in case of gymnosperms, right? And so we are going to reject the option 2, 3 and 4, but 1 is the correct answer, right? Okay, then question number 35. Okay, what is there? It is a matching type of question, right? Column 1 contains terms and column 2 contains definitions. Match them correctly and choose the right answer, right? And now this question is related to the human reproduction chapter. Okay, now we can easily identify the matchings here, right? And what is the correct answer here? Option 4. Option 4 is the correct answer, right? It means what here? A will match with R, parturition. Okay, it is nothing but the delivery of a baby from uterus. Then B refers to S, gestation. It is nothing but duration between pregnancy and birth, right? Then C refers to Q, okay, or C matches with Q, ovulation. Okay, it is nothing but the process of release of egg from the Graafian follicle. Then D refers to P, right? Implantation. Okay, it is nothing but attachment of zygote or blastocyst to the endometrium, right? Then E will match with the T, right? Conception. Okay, and here it is nothing but formation of zygote. Okay, formation of zygote by fusion of the egg and sperm, right? It is called as the conception. Okay, so option 4 is the correct answer, right? Then let us move on to next question, question number 36. Okay, and what is there? CAM pathway is observed in. Okay, and here this question is related to the plant physiology part. Okay, actually this concept comes in the concept of photosynthesis. CAM pathway is observed in, right? Option first is the correct answer, pineapple. Okay, not maize, not sunflower, and not sugar cane, right? And here in both maize and sugar cane we can observe the C4 pathway or Hatch-Slack pathway. Okay, and in case of sunflower we can observe Calvin cycle, right? And CAM pathway is observed in the pineapple plant. What is the long form of CAM here? Crassulacean acid metabolism. Okay, and here CAM plants are succulent plants which grow in dry conditions and are exposed to high temperature. Okay, in these plants stomata, what is the special character here? In these plants stomata open during the night time and close during the daytime. Okay, and this is mainly to conserve the water. Okay, at night CAM plants open their stomata allowing carbon dioxide to diffuse into the leaves, and this carbon dioxide is fixed into oxaloacetate, okay, a 4 carbon compound by the enzyme called as PEP carboxylase, that is converted to malate or other organic acids, right? And during daytime the organic acids are broken down to release carbon dioxide which enters the Calvin cycle, right? And remember, we are not going to study the detailed concept of CAM pathway in our current syllabus, but you try to remember CAM pathway is observed in pineapple. Okay, and the next one, question number 37. Question number 37. What is there? The number of ATP produced. The number of ATP produced when a molecule of glucose undergoes fermentation is. Okay, and here the option is 3, 2 ATP molecules. Okay, it is nothing but the anaerobic respiration only, right? And for question number 37, option 3 is the right answer. Okay, and remember what is fermentation? The chemical breakdown of glucose in the absence of oxygen is called as fermentation. Okay, and this process is also called as the anaerobic respiration. Okay, and during this reaction 2 moles of ATP are generated during the conversion of glucose to pyruvate. Okay, and based on the type of fermentation, pyruvate is converted into alcohol or lactic acid. Okay, if alcohol is formed, we are going to call it as the alcoholic fermentation. If lactic acid is formed, and we are going to call it as the lactic acid fermentation. Okay, and we are going to study this concept in detail in the chapter respiration in plants, respiration in plants. Okay, and you can refer the page number 230, okay, in NCERT textbook, right? And let us go for next question, question number 38. Okay, silk produced by, silk produced by Antheria mylitta is also called. Okay, now remember, this question is not at all related to our current syllabus. Okay, now in the old Karnataka textbook, a concept was there, sericulture, the branch was there, sericulture. Okay, the production of silk is called as sericulture. And now but however, I will tell you the correct answer, but no need to concentrate on this question right now, right? Okay, 38, for question number 38, option 2 is the right answer. It is called as the tussar silk, silk produced by Antheria mylitta is called as the tussar silk. So option 2 is the correct answer. Okay, then let us go for 39, question number 39. Which of the following hormones is a steroid, right? The different options are like this. One is estrogen, then second one is insulin, then third one is glucagon, then fourth one is thyroxine, right? And for question number 39, the steroid hormones, I will give you different examples. First one is the right answer, estrogen, right? I will tell you the steroid names, different steroid hormones. One is cortisol, then testosterone, estradiol, and progesterone. Okay, cortisol, testosterone, estradiol, and progesterone, right? And these are all the steroid hormones. Okay, and you can refer the chapter chemical coordination and integration of first PUC. Okay, and easily you will find the answer. Okay, you can also refer the page number 340. Okay, the concept is chemical nature of the hormones, right? Okay, then let us go for next question, question number 40. What is there? More men suffer from color blindness, more men suffer from color blindness than women because, okay, uh, the different options they have given here. Women are more resistant to disease than men. Then second option is the male sex hormone testosterone causes the disease. Then third option is the color blind gene is carried on the Y chromosome. Then fourth option is men are hemizygous and one defective gene is enough to make them colorblind, right? And uh, option 3 for question number 40, option 3 is the correct answer because the color blind gene is carried on the Y chromosome, right? And remember, color blindness, it occurs in 8% of males, 8% of males, and only about 0.4% of females. Okay, this is because the genes that lead to red green color blindness are on the Y chromosome. Okay, and males, because males have only one X chromosome and females have two. Okay, and this is the main reason. Okay, the color blind gene is carried on the Y chromosome, right? And you can refer the chapter principles of inheritance and variation, page number 89. Okay, the concept is color blindness in second PU NCERT textbook, right? Okay, then let us go for question number 41. For question number 41, what is the question here? Which one of the following theories on the origin of life is mostly accepted? Okay, which one of the following theories on the origin of life is mostly accepted? Okay, the different options are like this. One is special creation, then second one is steady state, then third one is panspermia, then fourth one is chemical origin, right? And for question number 41, fourth one is the correct answer, fourth option is the correct answer. It is chemical origin. Okay, which one of the following theories on the origin of life is mostly accepted? Okay, it is nothing but chemical origin only. Okay, fourth option, right? And here regarding the chemical origin of life, okay, Oparin of Russia and Halden of England, they proposed that the first form of life could have come from pre-existing non-living organic molecules, say for example RNA, proteins, etc. Okay, and that formation of life was preceded by chemical evolution. It means what here? The formation of diverse organic molecules from inorganic constituents. Okay, and according to this theory, the earlier environment provoked the synthesis of simple organic substances like amino acids, etc. Okay, and this theory states that early environment was rich in ammonia, then water vapor, then methane, etc. Okay, and even oxygen was lacking in the environment. Okay, and it is believed that the UV rays from sun helped in the synthesis of an organic molecule, right? And to understand the concept in detail, you can refer the chapter evolution in second PUC textbook, page number 127. Okay, and the concept is origin of life, right? Okay, so for question number 41, option 4 becomes the correct answer, right? Then question number 42. What is there? The rosette habit of cabbage. The rosette habit of cabbage can be changed by application of. Okay, and here the correct answer is option B. Okay, the option B. Say GA, IAA, GA, ABA, ethepon. Okay, first option is IAA. IAA stands for indole acetic acid. GA stands for gibberellic acid. Then third one is abscisic acid. Then fourth one is ethepon. Okay, it is a gaseous hormone, right? And here the correct option will be option 2 only, gibberellic acid. Okay, these gibberellins promotes bolting. Bolting means what here? Internodal elongation just prior to the flowering in case of beet, cabbages and many plants with rosette habit, right? And you can refer the chapter plant growth and development, page number 249. Okay, the concept is gibberellins, right? So option 2 is the correct answer. Okay, then question number 43, effective filtration pressure. Question number 43, effective filtration pressure in glomerulus is caused due to. Okay, and the correct answer is option 3, afferent arteriole is slightly larger than efferent arteriole, right? And you can refer the chapter excretory products and their elimination, page number 293, right? Then let us go for question number 44, banana bunchy top virus is transmitted to. Okay, transmitted through dash, right? First option is Pentalonia nigro nervosa, then Aedes aegypti, then Culex species, then Agribacterium species. They have mentioned like this, and the correct option is first one, Pentalonia nigro nervosa. Okay, and here remember banana bunchy top is caused by banana bunchy top virus. Okay, in short form we are going to mention it as the BBTV. Okay, and it is a plant virus transmitted by a small black insect called the banana aphid. Okay, that is Pentalonia nigro nervosa, right? And this concept it was present in old syllabus of Karnataka PUC textbook, right? Okay, now it is not there, right? Now question number 45, in a tissue culture media the resource of the phytohormone is, right? One is agar agar, then second option is glucose, then third one is micronutrients, and fourth one is coconut milk, right? And the correct option will be 4 only, coconut milk, right? And remember phytohormones, they are nothing but the plant hormones such as auxin, cytokinin, gibberellins, ethylene and abscisic acid that accelerate the metabolic activities of the plant such as cell differentiation, cell elongation, etc. Okay, and hence these are also called as the growth regulators. Okay, and coconut milk. Okay, what about the coconut milk here? It is known as a supplier of these growth regulators, and so it is used in the preparation of tissue culture media, right? And tissue culture is nothing but what here? It is nothing but in vitro cultivation of plants, seeds and other plant parts for a variety of purposes, right? So according to the question, the correct option will be option 4 only, right? Okay, then let us go for next question. Question number 46. What is there? With reference to the pituitary, which of the following statements is true, right? For question number 46, option 3. Okay, neurohypophysis collects and stores vasopressin and oxytocin. Among the four different statements, option 3 is the correct answer. Neurohypophysis collects and stores vasopressin and oxytocin, right? And remember, neurohypophysis, okay, it is also called as pars nervosa, also known as posterior pituitary. Okay, it stores and releases two hormones called as oxytocin and vasopressin, okay, which are actually synthesized by the hypothalamus and are transported axonally to neurohypophysis, right? And you can refer the first PUC textbook. The chapter is chemical coordination and integration, and you can refer the page number 333, right? 333. The concept is the pituitary gland, right? And the next question number 47. Okay, column 1 contains some terms and column 2 contains their meanings. Match them properly and choose the right answer. Okay, and in column 1 we can observe the different processes like glycogenesis, glycosuria, and glyconeogenesis. Then D is glycogenolysis, right? And in column 2 the processes are given here, right? Column 1 shows the terms, and in column 2 their meanings have been given, right? And I'll tell you the answer directly. For question number 47, option 2 is the correct answer. Okay, it means A refers to Q, glycogenesis. Okay, glycogenesis, it means what here? Conversion of glucose to glycogen. Okay, then B is equal to R, glycosuria. Okay, it is nothing but excretion of glucose in urine. Then C, it will match with S. Okay, glyconeogenesis. Okay, it is nothing but conversion of non-carbohydrate source to glucose. Okay, then D is equal to P, glycogenolysis. Okay, it is nothing but conversion of glycogen to glucose, right? So option for question number 47, option 2 is the right answer. Okay, then let us move on to the next question number 48. Okay, the term genetic RNA refers to, right? And here this question is related to molecular basis of inheritance. Okay, in Karnataka textbook, in old textbook, the title was molecular biology. Now it is molecular basis of inheritance. Okay, and what the question explains here, the term genetic RNA, it means we are going to classify the RNA as the genetic RNA and non-genetic RNA. Okay, and here genetic RNA refers to, okay, the genetic material of RNA viruses. Okay, and here RNA acts as the genetic material, right? Say for example tobacco mosaic virus, then QB bacteriophage, etc. Okay, and what is RNA here? RNA is a nucleic acid found in the nucleus as well as in the cytoplasm. Okay, and I told you there are two main kinds of RNA. Okay, that is the genetic and non-genetic. Okay, the genetic RNA, it will act as genetic material in viruses, and the non-genetic RNA mostly function in protein synthesis in many organisms, right? Okay, and I told you this is based on the chapter called as molecular basis of inheritance, right? Okay, so for question number 48, what is the correct answer? Option 1. Okay, genetic material of RNA viruses, right? Then question number 49. As per the guidelines of the Indian Red Cross Society, which of the following persons is recommended for blood donation, right? And here for question number 49, option 4 is the right answer. Persons who are immunized with live vaccines, right? And remember, vaccination means what here? Vaccination is a type of artificial acquired active immunity, right? Then the vaccines, they will generate an immune response in the person with the vaccine for the disease, right? And a vaccinated individual's blood is considered suitable for donation because it prevents the transmission of infection from the donor to the receiver, right? So option 4 is the correct answer. Again, it was the question belongs to old syllabus of Karnataka only, right? Okay, then question number 50. Question number 50. In a typical heart, okay, if EDV is 120 ml of blood and ESV is 50 ml of blood, the stroke volume SV is dash, right? And here option 1 is the correct answer. 120 minus 50 is equal to 70 ml, right? Okay, and here the amount of blood moved from the left ventricles of the heart is called as stroke volume. Okay, I will repeat it once again. What is SV or stroke volume here? The amount of blood moved from left ventricles of the heart is called as stroke volume. Okay, and this SV or stroke volume can be measured by subtracting end diastolic volume. It is mentioned as EDV with end systolic volume ESV. That is SV is equal to EDV minus ESV. Okay, which is 120 minus 50, result 70 ml is the stroke volume. Okay, final result will be 70 ml. It is considered as the stroke volume, right? Okay, and so option 1 is the correct answer. Okay, then let us move on to the next question. Question number 51. Okay, what is there? The term Southern blotting refers to. Okay, now this question will exactly matches with our syllabus, right? Southern blotting. Okay, for this question, option 3 is the correct answer. It is nothing but what here? Transfer of DNA fragments from electrophoresis gel or electrophoretic gel to nitrocellulose sheet or membrane. This is called as Southern blotting. Okay, this we have already studied in the concept called as DNA fingerprinting. Okay, in the chapter molecular basis of inheritance, right? Okay, the term Southern blotting refers to the transfer of DNA fragments from electrophoretic gel to the nitrocellulose sheet, right? Okay, so option 3 is the correct answer. Okay, then next question, question number 52. In some chordates, the notochord is modified as the vertebral column. Such animals are called vertebrates. Which of the following statements make sense, right? And among the given options, option 2, all vertebrates are chordates and all chordates are not vertebrates. Okay, all vertebrates are chordates and all chordates are, for question number 52, option 2 is the correct answer. All vertebrates are chordates and all chordates are vertebrates. Option 2 is the correct answer. Okay, and say for example, the members of subphylum Vertebrata possess notochord during the embryonic period. Okay, the notochord is replaced by a cartilaginous or bony vertebral column in the adult. Thus, all vertebrates are chordates, but all chordates are not vertebrates. Okay, all vertebrates are chordates, but all chordates are not vertebrates, right? So for question number 52, not second one is the correct answer, but the third one for question number 52, third one is the correct answer. Okay, what is that one? All vertebrates are chordates, but all chordates are not vertebrates, right? Okay. I will repeat it once again. For question number 52, option 3 is the correct answer. Okay, then question number 53, a clone is, and we are familiar with this question. 53, option 1, a group of genetically similar organisms produced through asexual reproduction. Okay, option 1 is the correct answer. And we can also define like this: the term clone is used to describe such morphologically and genetically similar individuals, okay, which are obtained through the asexual reproduction only, right? You can refer the chapter reproduction in organisms, right? Page number 5, right? So for question 53, first option is the correct answer. Okay, then question number 54, what is there? The space between the plasma membrane and the cell wall of a plasmolyzed cell surrounded by a hypertonic solution is occupied by the, okay, option 1 is hypotonic solution, second one is isotonic solution, then third one is hypertonic solution, then fourth option is water, right? And remember, for question number 54, the correct answer will be option 3 only. It is called as the hypertonic solution. It means what here? When a plant cell is placed in hypertonic solution, it will lose water by the process of exosmosis. Okay, and now this process is called as the plasmolysis. Okay, and due to this one, the protoplasm will shrink and will move inwards and away from the cell wall. Okay, and due to permeable nature of the cell wall, the outer hypertonic solution will occupy the space between the plasma membrane and the cell wall, right? And now option 3 is the correct answer, right? And now this question is based on the chapter called as transport in plants. Okay, you can easily find the answer for this one in the transport in plants, right? Page number 182, right? Okay. Then next question, question number 55, what is there? When the blood contains a high percentage of carbon dioxide and a very low percentage of oxygen, okay, the breathing stops and the person become unconscious. Okay, this condition is known as, what are the different options given here? One is suffocation, then second one is asphyxia, then third one is emphysema, then fourth one is euphoria. Okay, euphonia. Okay, and here hypnoia. Okay, for 55, option 2 is the correct answer. It is called as the asphyxia. Okay, now this concept is currently not there in our text, but I will tell you. Asphyxia means what here? It is a condition that can be caused by various factors such as choking, electric shock, then drowning, etc. Okay, in this condition there is a fall in the oxygen percentage in the body along with the rise in the percentage of carbon dioxide. Okay, and asphyxia may result in a loss of consciousness. Okay, but if the condition but if the condition still persists, it may result in death, right? Okay, so option 2 is the correct answer, right? Then next question number 56, what is there? Which one of the following is not related to guttation, right? First option is water is given out in the form of droplets. Second option is water given out is impure. Then third option is water given out is given out during daytime. Then fourth option is guttation is of universal occurrence. Okay, for question number 56, fourth one is the correct answer. Fourth option, guttation is of universal occurrence. Okay, this is not related to guttation. Okay, uh, and here remember, the effects of root pressure is observable at night. Regarding guttation, I will tell you, we have studied already this concept in transport in plants. Okay, regarding the guttation, effects of root pressure is observable at night and early morning when evaporation is low. It means when the rate of transpiration is low. and excess water collects in the form of droplets around special openings of veins near the tip of the grass blades and leaves of many herbaceous plants. Okay, such water loss in its liquid phase is called as the guttation, right? And remember, guttation relies or it depends on the pressure. It depends on the pressure means what here? It is nothing but the root pressure. Okay, it will not occur in large plants, okay, such as trees, because the pressure required to force the water out is too large, right? And it can occur in only few herbaceous and herbaceous plants as well as in grasses. Okay, and because of this reason, fourth option will become the correct answer. Guttation is of universal occurrence, they have mentioned. It is wrong. Okay, because guttation can be observed in only few plants like grasses and some herbaceous dicot plants, right? Okay, option 4 is the correct answer. Okay, then go for let us go for 57. The force responsible for upward conduction of water against gravity comes from, okay, transpiration, photosynthesis, translocation, then respiration. Okay, and the correct answer will be option 1 only. It is transpiration, right? And here, when we study the root pressure, it does not account for the majority of the water transport. Okay, because of this reason, most of the plants they meet their need or the transportation of water by the process of transpiration pull. The force called as the transpiration pull, which is developed due to mainly due to the transpiration process, right? So option 1 is the correct answer. Okay, then question number 58. 58, what is the question here? Column 1 contains names of the sphincter muscles of the alimentary canal and column 2 contains their locations. Match them properly and choose the correct answer, right? Now this is little bit beyond our syllabus only. The chapter is there. It is mainly, the question is related to the digestion. Okay, uh, digestion chapter. Okay, and the correct answer will be 3 only. Correct option will be 3 only. It means A will match with R, then B will match with S, C will match with P, then D will match with T, E will match with Q, right? Okay, A refers to R means sphincter of ani internus, right? Okay, it is the guarding of terminal part of alimentary canal, right? And B refers to S, cardiac sphincter. Okay, cardiac sphincter. Okay, it is between esophagus and anterior stomach. Then C refers to P, sphincter of Oddi, opening of hepatopancreatic duct into duodenum. Then D refers to T, ileocecal sphincter. T means what here? Between small intestine and bowel. Okay, then E is equal to Q, pyloric sphincter. Okay, opening of hepatopancreatic duct into duodenum, right? Sorry, pyloric sphincter, it will match with Q, between duodenum and posterior stomach, right? Option 3 is the correct answer. Okay, then let us go for question number 59. 59. Which one of the following reactions is an example of oxidative decarboxylation, right? And here option 3, conversion of pyruvate to acetyl coenzyme A. Okay, option 3 is the correct answer, right? And here in respiration in plants, we have studied about this process. Okay, when pyruvate is formed by the glycolytic breakdown or catabolism of carbohydrates in the cytosol or cytoplasm, and that pyruvate enters the mitochondrial matrix. Okay, and it undergoes, that pyruvate undergoes oxidative decarboxylation by a complex set of reactions. Okay, catalyzed by the enzyme pyruvic dehydrogenase, right? And this particular step, that is nothing but the conversion of pyruvate to acetyl coenzyme A. It is an example of oxidative decarboxylation, right? And you can refer the chapter respiration in plants, page number 231, right? Okay, then last question. Okay, that is question number 60. Chemiosmosis hypothesis was given by chemiosmosis hypothesis was given by Peter Mitchell. Proposes the mechanism of. Okay, and four options are given here. One is synthesis of NADH, and second one is synthesis of ATP. Then third one is synthesis of FADH2. Then synthesis of NADPH. And among the four options, the second one is the correct answer, synthesis of ATP. Okay, the chemiosmosis or the chemiosmotic hypothesis or theory, it was given by Peter Mitchell, which explains about the synthesis of ATP in the chloroplast as well as in the mitochondria. Okay, and remember this concept or hypothesis, chemiosmotic hypothesis, is both related to both photosynthesis as well as respiration, because the ATP will be formed during both the processes like photosynthesis as well as the respiration, right? Okay, so uh, option 2 is the correct answer, synthesis of ATP, right? And with this, the discussion of KCET 2011, okay, KCET biology paper 2011 is over. And students, in the next video, again I am going to discuss the question paper, KCET biology question paper of 2012. Okay, thank you for patient hearing, right?